Hi everyone, I'm Anna, and welcome to Aero NextGen Tech Talk. For those who are not familiar with us yet, Aero NextGen helps aviations and MRO companies find and connect with technology solutions that improve their operations and support digital transformation. Many companies invest in new systems, expecting better visibility and smoother workflows. But once those systems are introduced into daily operations, adoption can still feel difficult and slow. And that's why today we are here talking about why software adoption in aviation still feels hard, even when it isn't. To talk about this today, we are joined by Mahmoud El Sawah, founder and CEO of AIRNXT. Mahmoud, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yeah, thank you, Anna, for having me. It's a pleasure.
So before we dive in, can you give a quick introduction of yourself and of the company?
Yeah, sure. I'm Mahmoud El Sawah. I'm the founder of AIRNXT. I spent 17 years in aviation maintenance and engineering. I used to work in engineering. I used to work as a maintenance manager. I used to work as a quality manager. I worked a lot in the aviation maintenance itself. And last 6 years of my career, I was working with a software editor in France, where we were installing the same ERP systems that we use today. And I started AIRNXT in 24, and the idea was to create the first next generation ERP system built from scratch, especially for aviation maintenance and engineering management.
Thank you so much. So let's dive in. Many aviation companies they invest in new systems expecting improvements, and yet adoption often feels take longer than expected. From your experience, why does software adoption still feels difficult for teams, and even when technology itself is ready?
Well, the thing is, there's like two problems. There's not one problem. If you think about it, the first one is that the user experience is an afterthought. Most of the systems that are available on the market today were built for compliance, not for end users. And that resulted in overcomplicated tools that needs weeks of training. You need to understand that this kind of systems are the nervous system of the company. If the nervous system is asking you to do more work, it's broken, right? And the next problem is that the buying model that we have today creates adoption failures, right? Like we're having 12 to 18 months of implementation and demos and contracts and training. And by the time of the end user uses that or touches it, they say like, what is this? I don't like it. And they go back to Excel. And this adoption failure is baked at purchase. It's not at the go live. It's actually at the purchase that there's a problem. And so these problems are the problems that actually today making it difficult for our industry to adopt.
Yeah, I think many companies can relate to that. And from what you've seen, how do day-to-day operation demands shape the way teams respond to new software or process changes?
Well, you need to understand that the maintenance teams, they live in now, okay? So they work in the moment. If you look at it, it's like you have the aircraft on ground, you have defects to close, you have CRS to sign. There is no bandwidth for implementation project or having to adopt new complicated systems. And the old model forces these impossible choices upon them, where they have to run the operation and in the same time adopt the software. But actually, you can either run the operation or adopt the software, and that shouldn't be a choice, because if the software integrates into the existing workflow without adding steps and ideally removing steps, it will be only adopted while people are working. It will be easy to adopt. And that's the thing, is like it's a design principle. If make the user do his job, nothing extra, and the system supposed to do the rest.
Yeah. I can relate with that. I believe this is how it should be. When adoption struggles happen, what does the friction usually look like inside of organization? Is it resistant to change, lack of time, unclear process, or something else?
It's not resistance. It's the fear of unknown plus a learned behavior. So you have these people who have been through painful implementations before, right? And all systems or all proposals or solutions that they come, and they were like, we will make your life better. And then we give them 2 years of implementation pain. When something is genuinely easy, they don't believe it, actually. They are afraid. Like they recreate the old process, even if it doesn't exist. And they wait for approvals nobody asked for. They ask for demos when they already have access to the system. And they would say like, okay, we'll come back in 2 months. Nothing is blocking you from trying now.
Yeah.
And they chose that. They chose that because it's the known, even if it's painful, over that unknown that they don't know. And for that to change, it only changes when it becomes urgent enough and something breaks. At that moment, the change becomes a fix. It's not an improvement, and it's backwards.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting point. And in your view, how much of the difficulty is truly technical, and how much is about habits, mindset, or the way teams work today?
Well, I would say there's 20% technical and 80% mindset. The smartphone test is something I really like. And you have a smartphone, right?
Yes.
How many apps do you have on it? A
Oh,
lot.
yes.
How many did you get training for?
None.
None. How many did you download because of a salesperson? Almost none.
None, yeah.
How many did you download, tried, and kept, and it worked, so you kept it. It didn't work, you deleted it.
Bunch.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the model that works today in 26. This is the mindset that we expect, right? The technical or the technology is there, it exists. Like it exists in healthcare,
Yeah.
it exists in banking, it's there. But the aviation reality is that we've trained people to expect a different process, right? We put them barriers that isn't there. It's like it's too hard to use. And we give them barrier is that like surely there must be a way better than that. And then they come and they see that and they find this and they're like, it's too good to be true. Because like it's well, I shouldn't say that, but it feels like when you are in a bad relationship and you come out with the trauma.
Yeah, well, sometimes people try to implement and they have like the fear that it's gonna be all of that again, and it's like it's hard. But like nowadays we have like softwares that are simple and easier to implement, right? And what have you seen that helps teams move from reacting to daily operation problems toward adopting tools that actually make operation easier and more efficient?
Well, it's quite simple actually. If you remove the barriers to entry, they will try and adopt. If it's easy for them to try it, like they don't need to have a demo, they don't need to go through 6 years or 6 months of committees to just see the system. They don't need to sign a contract before they touch the product. They don't need to have an implementation project before they see the value. Like in this case, they will adopt. Let them log in, invite their colleagues, and start working. And when they are doing the works and they find the value and they say, this thing is helping me, it's more powerful than any management decision that you can have. It grows organically from there. And this requires vendors themselves to rethink their business model. And the issue that most won't, because the revenue they have depends on the high touch sales and the long contracts.
Yeah, and once teams start trusting the system, everything changes, right? And based on your experience building AIRNXT, what practical approaches or tools have you seen that make software adoption smoother for aviation teams?
Well, we adopt 3 principles. First one, if the user needs training, the design fails. So it should be intuitive enough to figure it out. And if same as the apps on the smartphone, and we have what we call the grammar test. If my grammar can create a lookbook entry, any pilot can do. And that's the first one. The second one, never add steps to an existing workflow. If the workflow has 5 steps on paper, it should be 5 or lower. It should not be more. Any step that doesn't add value to the user, automate it. And the third one is that let people try before they commit. Be transparent. We have our pricing on the website. You have full access to the system from day one. You have no strings attached. You can try the product. The product is the demo. you try it, and if you feel and if it's good, people will adopt. If it's not, no sales pitch will sell it.
Yeah. And looking ahead, do you think aviation's organizations are becoming more open to change, or will mindset continue to be one of the biggest challenges?
No, they are, but it's because the workforce is changing. Since COVID, we have been seeing lots of people leaving aviation, and we have lots of people entering aviation from other industries like tech, logistics, retails, automotive, and so on. And they come with expectation about how software should work. They saw it elsewhere, right? They've used modern SaaS while they're working elsewhere. And when they arrive and they get handed the equivalent of a Nokia 6600, they get shocked. I'm a bit old, so I know Nokia. So they won't tolerate 2 years of implementation and 20 days of training. They will look for something that works as they expect in 26. And this will catch up, and the industry will have to catch up because people are demanding it. And we can see it today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before we wrap up, would you like to say anything else?
Well, again, as I said in the beginning, that this kind of ERP is the nervous system of the company. And today you can extend the prosthetic limbs as you want. You can add systems on top of that system. It's not going to fix it. And this was one of the things that we had to do in AIRNXT.
Mahmoud, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your perspective. This was really valuable conversation, and I think many aviation organizations can relate to the challenges around software adoption and operations change. And thank you everyone for watching. If your company is currently evaluating new technology solutions, you can visit AIR NextGen website and take our free quiz to discover the companies and solutions that best match your operation needs. And of course, follow AIR NextGen for more conversations with aviation technology leaders and more insight across the aviation and MRO industry. Thank you and see you next time.